Today we're visiting the Wellcome Collection. It was opened in 2007. It's part of the Wellcome Trust, which goes back much further. The collection itself is quite substantial, but they also sponsor and fund large scale exhibits, and there's generally two or three at a time. You never quite know what you're going to get. So a modern lean on the artistic side. This exhibit here was about the workplace and home and safety. And it's always on a medical bent, but it's not as specific as medical. So well-being, and there was an exhibit a few years ago about sleep that was very interesting. So often thought-provoking, not necessarily what you expect you're going to get. So always good to pop in, and it probably is like 30 minutes on the way from a train station, a good museum to squeeze into your day. I've never been disappointed. There used to be, or the first few times that I went to the collection, there was a very large collection of old surgical and medical equipment and paraphernalia, but that seems to have long gone. Now, this was the second exhibit here. It was Story of 254. I honestly couldn't really understand what was going on here, but it was very high quality production, and an interesting, thought-provoking exhibit, but certainly a bit on the quirky side. I think the viruses and the leg braces were my highlights of this one. But this is quite a good way, I think, of showing the Wellcome Collection, that you never quite know what you're going to get. Realistically, they'll have 3 shows. You probably like 1 or 2 of them, but very interesting stuff. And upstairs they have a beautiful library. We'll take a stroll up this spiral staircase shortly. If you look out the windows there, you can actually see Euston Station. It's directly opposite Euston Station and Euston Square, so very easy to get to, and very close to the British Library, or if you're heading into London through King's Cross or Euston, it's on the way to things like the British Museum, the Peachtree, Victoria and Albert, etc. So the exhibition was about the cola nut. It was quite an intriguing exhibition in that I can't say I've ever put much thought into the cola nut, whereas here it covered the religious and cultural significance, the exploitation, the use of it for beverages and foods, the cultural significance for the people who grow it and trade it and live with it. And it was very interesting little exhibition. Now, you can look in advance at what the exhibits are going to be, but I generally just turn up. Certainly saw one very thought-provoking exhibit here years ago. And I like the staircase. There's a interesting shop. I don't know if interesting is the word. Let's say large. There's a substantial shop, a little bit on the pricey side. The collection is free, but if you buy something there, it will help pay for it. It's this lovely spiral staircase, and up at the top is a beautiful library, very substantial collection. Here's the main hallway. You could tell it was Christmas. The Christmas trees are up. And there's the shop over there in the background. And upstairs, this is the library. You can see a very open space on Euston Road. It's free. You could just walk in. No one will stop you from going and looking at the library, for example, with all these beautiful paintings of. They're all medically inspired or medically related, but it's a broad interpretation of that. the collection concentrates on the human experience rather than specifically medical. And I would definitely recommend a visit. If you're in London, you're coming through King's Cross or Euston, it's a no-brainer. Pop in, it's 5 minutes walk, and it's a small collection, so if you're interested you can spend a long time. If you're not, you can spend 10 minutes. But it is a very good addition to London's museums from the turn of the century. Now you can check out some of the other museums in the playlist or subscribe. We've covered a few of the larger, and we're going to be covering several very small museums which don't actually allow video, so they're coming soon.